Hi you guys, today this tutorial is going to cover how to create a basic Google spreadsheet for your Algebra 2 project. As you can see, I have just any browser window open, and for me, I'm lucky because up in the upper right hand corner, you can kind of see me highlight right next to my little picture 9 little dots. So if you go under Google or Gmail, you'll get those 9 little dots, but you're welcome in any browser window just to type in Google Sheets, and you're gonna have an option to click on Sheets. So it's the green center option. I'm gonna click on Sheets. And once you get to this page, we want to start a blank sheet. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on the big plus symbol. It will bring up a blank sheet. Now, the first thing I want you to get in the habit of is actually titling your sheet. So I just clicked on that field. I'm going to delete that, and I'm going to put Algebra 2, and then we'll put Sheets Introduction. And then we'll all be labeled the same. Okay? Now, I want you to think of what we're going to be doing for graphing linear equations as building an XY table. But I'm going to show you some super quick steps for an XY table. So let's use column A and B for our XY table. We're going to call this X, and we're going to call this Y. And if you look on the worksheet, the first equation we're going to try is Y equals 1X plus 2. I just wanted to keep it really simple. So pretend like this is an XY table like you've done a million times, and I'm going to put 1 as my first value into that equation, then I'll put 2, and I actually want you to build quite a few of these. I want you to build 20 inputs, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc., all the way down to 20. But please pay attention. This is a quick trick. If you establish a pattern, like I want to add by 1 every single time, Google Sheets can recognize that and replicate it. So I highlighted my pattern 1 and 2, and I want it to continue on with this pattern through the entire column. Once you've highlighted the 2 that represent the pattern, you click on that blue square. I'm just going to click on that blue square, and I'm going to drag it. And like I said, let's just go up to 20. And it will repeat your pattern. You can add by 3. You could subtract by 2. There's a lot of different things. It's very powerful. But we're going to maximize that today. We're actually going to do exactly the same thing right now under our Y column. So my equation is Y equals 1X plus 2. I'm not going to repeat that, but I'm going to get pretty darn close to it. I have to start with an equal sign to show that I'm entering an equation. So I'm going to put equals. I'm going to enter my 1. And if you look up above, the equation is 1 times X plus 2. So put in a multiplication symbol, which is a star that's located under the number 8. So do 1 times. Now this is the trickiest part. Usually, if you look to the left of my equation, it says, enter the value of 1. My first X value was a 1. I don't want to put 1 there. I'm going to show you a really cool trick. I'm going to let the program itself, the Google Sheets program, just understand that I want to put that 1 in there. So all I did was click on the 1. I want to fill the 1 in for X, and it brings over the cell number, which is A2. And then the last thing I'm going to do is add in my plus sign and 2. So it almost looks exactly the same as the equation above it, but I put a little bit of fancy programming in there. Instead of entering the value of 1, I showed which cell I was going to pull the 1 from. Once yours looks like this, hit enter, and the answer will be provided there. Test it, make sure yours is working. For instance, if I fill the 1 in for the X into the equation, 1 times 1 is 1 plus 2 is 3. So it worked. Once you have one equation programmed, you can go up and click on it, and you can see it. It'll appear up top in the function field. Okay? So hopefully you can see up above with fx equals 1 times a2 plus 2. Now, do you remember how we were allowed to drag and drop before? You can drag here as well. So I'm going to click on that blue square and I'm going to drag down, and it should copy that pattern or that equation the entire way down. If you're nervous that it's not doing the math right, test one. For instance, if you plugged in 15 into your original equation for x, 1 times 15 plus 2, that should have outputted 17, and it did. So your equation worked. I think that's the hardest part of the entire tutorial. Let's go ahead and actually fill in the graph, which is super easy. So select your entire XY table, okay? Once you have that selected, go to Insert, Chart, and almost always it gives you a bar chart. And that's cool because you can kind of see that there's a linear trend, but I don't want a bar chart. I actually, for this unit, would prefer a scatter plot or lines. So I'm going to go ahead and choose the scatter plot. Here's the line charts. You can mess around with these. There's the line. Cool, right? I'm going to go down to the bottom. I want to show you the scatter plot. There was a scatter plot. When you're on scatter plot or scatter chart, there in the middle of that field, it says aggregate. I'm going to go ahead and click that, and it just gives me a little bit more information about my actual line. So I want you to think about it. A scatter plot is all the actual values, all my outputs and inputs as ordered pairs. A line fills in between all my actual values with an assumption. So I like the scatter plot. The coolest part about the scatter plot is if you just take your mouse, don't click, but just hover over any point, it shows you exactly what occurred. It gives you the equation, y equals 1x plus 2. But look, it shows that you entered 9 into that equation and your output was 11. So every single ordered pair is provided. I input 7, my output was 9. You'll see on your project, you have a couple questions about making predictions. So the scatter plot comes in really good handy for that. The other thing I wanted to show you is you can just have a little bit of fun. So once you have your scatter plot in place, you can go ahead and like change the colors and so forth just by modifying your, different fields over on the right hand side. So if you go under series, let's see what else, customize, you can go under series and change your color. This is not necessary, it's just fun. Maybe you don't like circles. I can make them bigger, I can make them smaller. If you don't like circles, maybe you want to change it to triangles or diamonds or squares or X's. But anyways, that's more fun. And then you can always change your title. If you don't like your equation being in your title, you could change it maybe to Algebra II Introduction sheet. So there's a lot you can do, but as long as you have built your basic graph, you should be good to go. And if you can make predictions with it, you're one step further because that's the next portion of the project. I hope this helps. Have a great day.